You know how back in the day, how Seth Rollins used to have this skinny leg problem and everybody not really anybody had a problem with it, but Mattel decided, you know what, Brad, we'll go back to the well and we'll redesign him for absolutely no reason, and we will give him bigger thighs. Well, today we're going to be discussing some of the superstars that I think have the worst formulas going right now. All right, man, today we're talking about some of those bad formulas, and I love this topic because I feel like I'm one of the ones that is more heavy on criticism about things like this, and we'll get into all that, but I brought up Seth Rollins at the beginning of the video because, again, if you guys don't know what we're talking about here, it is when, Seth Rollins used to have a different formula. This is back when he had single-jointed arms. His legs were a lot skinnier than they are in present day. And, I don't think that these figures were wrong, but I think people really enjoy the upgrade that the Seth Rollins figures have taken. And we'll get into some different things like that. But I think the biggest thing of this, and this guy would have been on the list, he would have been at the top of the list probably, has to be AJ Styles, man. And this is a really good way to kind of, compare the two. So this is the old Elite 74 AJ Styles. He does have a lot of staining on there, but you'll see he had the Daniel Bryan torso. He had the smaller legs. This used to be the way they made AJ Styles, and I could not stand it, man. I could not stand it. I always, for whatever reason, this skinnier torso always just looks so off to me. It's the Daniel Bryan torso. I talked about this many times on the channel. It's kind of become sort of a historical fact on the channel. It's the never-ending lore of the My Damn Toys YouTube channel. But this is the old formula. He had the skinny torso, whatever. Also, his chest and stomach hair is egregious now that I look at it. But this figure was actually pretty favored among collectors when it came out. The Elite 56, it does have an Elite 47 head sculpt on it. But this was the original formula. Then we did change courses. And I don't know, I made an Instagram post and kind of called it out and said this is what needs to happen. This AJ Styles formula is no good. And they gave us the Elite 104. Now, I know that this one, you can't even see it. Hold on just a second. Here we go right here. Then they upgraded him to this torso right here. He's got a Sin Cara torso, a lot better. I still think that they should have upgraded the legs, but this is still a lot better. We can compete with this. This looks a hell of a lot better. I love this. This looks so much better. Still needs chest and stomach hair, though. If we bring it back over here, you have these AJ Styles here. So we went from the Daniel Bryan torso to the Sin Cara torso, which looks so much damn better. But then with the greatest hits, they even did a different upgrade. They upgraded the legs. So now you went from this, the skinnier torso that doesn't quite look that good and skinny legs to some thicker legs and the Sin Cara torso. It looks a lot better. It looks a lot more proportionate. It actually looks like AJ Styles, a lot better to resemble real life right here with this AJ Styles. This is just a hell of a lot better. You have a lot better looking, more accurate AJ Styles rendition than before. So after the AJ Styles debacle and everything like that, I started thinking on who's some other figures that I can't stand the formula on or I think that need changing. And these are the people that I came up with. So let's dive into my list. And also, I may have forgotten somebody. So if I forgot somebody or I'm leaving somebody off the list that you guys consider that should be on the list, let me know that down in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. So starting off this list, man, I did go with LA Knight. I think LA Knight definitely belongs on this list. Not that his formula is just egregious, but I think it could be a lot better, man. I don't like the Damien Mizdow torso for LA Knight. I don't hate it, but I think that a Macho Man torso or an Eddie Guerrero torso would look a lot better in my opinion. We can look at that right now so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So for me personally, I think that this torso would look a little bit better than this one over here. Not that, again, it's just some egregious injustice or something like that, but I do think that the Macho Man torso would look a lot better. I like the arms, I like the shoulders, the striated shoulders with this torso would look really good. Think of a DDP Elite, the Monday Night Wars one that's coming out with the tight jeans on, the light blue jeans. I think that torso would look a lot better on LA Knight. Another thing I think would look better for him is going to be the thighs. They gave him these skinny thighs, and not that these lower legs are very bad, but they use these lower legs on other characters, which we'll get into probably later in the video, but I do not like the lower legs they use here. I think Bobby Roode thighs would look a lot better. I think that LA Knight's thighs are pretty thickums, so I think that Bobby Roode thighs or the Dolph Ziggler mold, the Bobby Roode mold would look a hell of a lot better. Give him the thicker thighs, it would really create a better proportion, especially if he added in that Macho Man torso. Another couple characters right here, man, Jimmy and Jey Uso. Now, I have kind of a split idea on this, and these are the Ultimate Editions, but if you get into their Elites, and I know they did fix it, however, now the last two Usos that we got, these Elite 106 Usos, I know that ever since these, they have fixed it. The Elite 114 are fixed, at least on the torso. They did end up giving these guys, at least Jay I know, they did give them the Daniel Bryan torso, which is a torso I don't like. But, you know, that for a long time they had the Matt Hardy torso, and that's what they used to give the Usos. And then for whatever reason on these, they went back to the Daniel Bryan torso. They have since switched back to the Matt Hardy or the Bo Dallas style torso. However, they did change Jimmy's. They gave him some different lower legs. However, on this figure, these lower legs, they have continued to give him these legs here, which are very stiff. They're on ball joints, but he has no shin cut, and it's very, very stiff. The pinless legs right here, very stiff. So I would love to see a brand new jogger mold. I do not like this mold for whatever reason. It's very stiff, and you combine it with this new Ultimate Edition or these shoes, and I don't know if it's gotten any better with the new shoe mold, which we've touched on, you know, the one that's coming with the Elite 113 Kofi Kingston. I don't know if it's going to get any better, but this jogger mold just in general is awful, but I am glad that they fixed the torso. So that is one step in the right direction, and the Elite 114 Jimmy Uso does look to be a lot damn better because they gave him brand new everything. He's got brand new everything going on. I think that figure is going to be great, but even the J is still having these legs. So we'll have to see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but there has been some instances where they could improve him, and I think that leg mold needs to retire. Oh, man. Finn Balor, man. Finn Balor is a guy that desperately needs a new formula. I gotta pop this head sculpt on here, but this right here, man, they make him way too small. These new jogger legs, I can't stand them. Very similar to the Usos problem. He does have the old John Cena shoe mold. I know this shoe mold has been since retired. I know it's been retired, but these legs do not do him any justice. These are older Finn Balor figures right here, man. And if you take this figure and you know what, let's move this right here. Let's stick this over there. Let's put this Finn Balor up next to the other ones, and he's shorter. It makes him look a lot smaller, and also it makes his legs look very tiny. Look how tiny his legs are in comparison to these older thighs, and I don't know why. I mean, they've done this for so long. They've had this same formula that they were repping for Finn Balor, and then whenever he put the joggers on, they stripped him of all his dignity, and they gave him these small, tiny legs that make him very short, and they do, you know, take away the musculature in the legs, which I think isn't like just egregious, but it makes me less excited for the figures. And I think that this is one of the formulas that they could desperately improve on. And one thing I am excited about is this figure is on ball joints, and I'm thinking with the new Elite 114 Jimmy Uso and the black joggers, I'm going to try and plug those legs into these and seeing if we could somehow make a fix-up or a custom out of it. It will lose some other aspects of it, like the purple on the designs and stuff like that, but I think that this is a formula that I just can't get on board with. I just don't like it. It makes him way too small, and I think that it's a downgrade, a serious downgrade. And another thing is even on his last Demon Elite, they did this same thing. So it's not just putting the joggers on, actually. It is just them changing the lower legs. They gave him Daniel Bryan legs instead of these formerly known Finn Balor legs. So I don't know why they downgraded him. Again, it makes it, look at the demon, look at this demon compared to the others. Look at the Ultimate Edition towers over it. These other figures are much taller than the newest demon, quote unquote, in this Elite 98. Just not very good, man. So that is a formula that they desperately need to change. Another formula I have been desperately waiting for them to change is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, his Elites back in the day, I think people could, you know, kind of get over it. But look at the arms, man. His arms are way too skinny. Even his thighs are too skinny. And these are the same LA Knight style thighs that they gave him. It's pretty much the exact same mold. It's too small for Stone Cold, man. It's too small for Stone Cold. And this is his Ultimate Edition right here. And this is another thing I think that they could improve on. I think he needs a brand new Ultimate with a brand new revamped formula. You could give him a bigger torso, striated shoulders, bigger biceps, overall better articulation. Give him bigger thighs. There are so many different things they could do to Austin and make him so much more improved that it's ridiculous. And as one of the GOATs, Mount Rushmore, one of the best wrestlers of all time, one of the most known wrestlers of all time, you got to fix this guy's formula. You got to get him going. So that is something that I have been begging Mattel to do, is upgrade his formula, and he's way too skinny, man. The Ultimate Edition specifically, but I think his Elites could use one as well. Anytime we get an Elite now, the arms are, this isn't even the arms that they use. They give him the standard arms, which I think are too small. I think they need to upgrade those and get it going. I think that on this one, they actually did give him bigger arms. So on this Ruthless Aggression Elite, they did give him bigger arms. I don't think I did that. I think they did that. So there's one instance where they kind of, you know, made it work better. It just works better, man. He used to fill out his shirts and stuff, so that's definitely something that they need to do there. But Stone Cold Steve Austin was definitely on my list. Another guy that kind of goes hand in hand with this is going to be Roddy Piper. I think very similarly, Roddy Piper could use this, man. I don't like the Daniel Bryan torso. It just looks so small and skinny, and I don't think it really does anybody any favors. They need to come up with some new torso for guys like this. And I know you have your Matt Hardy torso, your Bo Dallas torso, which would probably make this figure look better, but I think the Sin Cara torso and torsos like that would probably fix Roddy Piper as well. Roddy Piper is kind of an underrated one that nobody thinks of. I think that's why his Ultimate Edition is so good, is because it's giving you that upgrade in formula. He looks a lot better, a lot more accurate to the source material in Roddy Piper. And then kind of an honorable mention right here is Shawn Michaels. I know that his Ultimate Editions, that's probably why I like him so much. I think that they could do away with the Daniel Bryan torso on Shawn Michaels as well. I don't hate it as much as other guys, but, you know, guys like Sami Zayn and some other guys can get away with the Daniel Bryan torso. They've also done it with Chris Jericho. I know he's not really in the company anymore, but I think that something like a Tully Blanchard torso, Terry Funk torso, this torso works a lot better for guys like Jericho, Sami Zayn, Edge, stuff like that. Edge probably needs like a, you know, a Cesaro Elite 23 torso or something like that. But the Terry Funk torso is something on Elite that they never use anymore, and it's a very underrated torso. I think that they need to scrap the Daniel Bryan torso altogether. But I think that in certain instances it could work, but it would be something that I would prefer to see on some other characters. So I think that the Daniel Bryan torso and Shawn Michaels could also go. But the last one that I really wanted to get into is going to be Kane. Now, I think that for Kane, they just make his torso too skinny and small, especially on the singlet torsos specifically. So your singlet torsos are just way too skinny. I think that that's why the Ultimate Editions are so much better here. So when you get into the Ultimate, I think that they do a really good job of capturing kind of the build of Kane. And look at all these damn figures about to fall over. I'm about to have a conniption. God in heaven. Oh, God. Oh, God. Jesus in heaven. So the Ultimate Edition right here, you can see that it has a lot better, I don't know, it just looks a lot better, man. The arms are better, the shoulder striations, the torso looks a lot more accurate to a Kane figure. But then when you get into the Elites, which we can get into in just a moment, get into Kane's like this, and look how small the torso is. And I did do an arm swap on this because they gave him the skinny arms. So this is back in the day. I know they have changed his formula slightly, but I think that Kane, they don't do a great job of making him look big and menacing like he actually was. That's why I'm such a big fan of the Kane Ultimate Edition. So I think that the Kane Ultimate Edition does a great job of that. Another guy like that would be The Undertaker. I think that sometimes when they give him the singlet torso, they make him too skinny. But then when they give him the shirtless torso, I think that this looks a lot better. And his Ultimate Edition that came out this year is a fantastic piece. They do a really good job of capturing how big he was too. So I think that the Undertaker singlet torso and then the Kane singlet torsos need to be retired. They need to do something else, make them better, make them a lot more menacing like they were in real life. But I think that's the last figure I had on my list for today. Anyways, man, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video, getting into the formulas of different characters. Again, I might have left some off the list. This is another really good example of how skinny the Kane torso used to be. And I did upgrade it again with bigger arms, which kind of gives you an illusion that it's right. But again, man, here's the From the Vault series. So they did give him like bigger arms. I didn't hate this figure right here. I just think that overall they could make him a little bit better. But that's why I think the Ultimate torsos are so important. But this is a good comparison to see there between the two. But they both look really good, actually. I mean, they do look fine, but I think that Kane could do a lot better on, you know, how big he is and stuff like that. But nonetheless, man, again, I probably left out some characters. So if I missed out on some characters you think they need to fix the formula on, you think that they could improve them, let me know all that down in the comment section below, of course. But before we get out of here, a huge shout out to our Patreon members again. Thank you guys so very much for your support. You guys are unbelievable. I appreciate it. Again, leave me your thoughts down below on my list. Do you think my list is valid? Do you think I'm missing on my list? Let me know all those things, man. I think if I had to pick a couple guys to really fix the most, I think Stone Cold and then probably probably Finn Balor. I'd probably pick Finn Balor and Stone Cold if I had to pick the two guys to fix the formula of the most. But I think that's going to wrap it up, man. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one. I'll catch you guys later.